Hi, I'm Dave at Escape Trailers, and I'm going to be your tour guide today and show you everything you need to know to enjoy your escape trailer right from the first weekend that you go out. We've chosen the 19-foot display model because it has all the components you're going to find on all of our trailers. Locations may vary, but we're going to find everything we need here. So why don't you come with me, we'll head inside and we'll get started. Okay, now we're inside the trailer. Let's start at one spot. We're going to work our way through. Start right here. Light switch in the doorway operates your porch light. If we come down here to the end of the counter, you're going to find your counter extension. If I want to lift that up, I lift it up a little bit past horizontal, and then I'm going to reach under and make sure that my hinges are locked in place. And now you've got a little extra counter space. And then put it back down again. Just going to lift it up a little bit past horizontal, collapse those hinges, and it locks back down into place. Up here, day shades. Just grab them in the middle, pull straight down. And then grab them in the bottom and push straight back up again. Let's have a look at your stove. Starting with the range hood, really important before you ever light up the stove that you turn the fan on. So down here, we just select whichever burner we want, come to the knob, push it down to the light setting. I'm going to take my barbecue lighter, lights right up. Now I can set it from really high all the way down to a really low simmer. This oval burner, it's not just a higher surface area, bigger surface area, but it's a higher BTU burner, so definitely faster for a frying pan or a pot of boiling water. Now for cleaning, see there's some little openings in the rings. I just gently squeeze that opening together, take that out for cleaning. And I want to be a little careful when I put it back in so I don't chip the paint. And then for bigger cleaning jobs, I can take these two black knobs off, take out these two screws, and this whole top will lift off. And there's a big pan under there that'll catch crumbs or boilovers or whatever might have happened. Let's come up here and take a look at your monitor panel. First thing we see is the red button here for your water pump. So if you're off dry camping and you're not at a full service campground with your hose hooked up, we can just turn on the water pump and now the water's ready to go. Water on demand system. So now I can just come to the sink, turn on the water, and it's water pressure just like your sink at home. You can actually just leave the pump on the whole time you're camping, and the only power draw will be this little red light, but you do want to make sure that you switch it off before you travel. And our other button here is this black test button, and that lets us look at a few bits of information. Over here is your battery level, showing fully charged all the way down to low. And then here we have your three different water tanks. There's your freshwater tank, your holding tank or black toilet tank, and then your gray tank. That's going to be your sink and your shower water. Okay, let's have a look back here. All of Escape trailers have an emergency window on the rear driver's side. And this window is great because it's a covered window. It's one of the few windows in the trailer that you can have open in the rain. Now in the event of emergency, you're going to come here to this red handle and pull the bug screen out of the way, and now the opening is clear for you to get out. There's a big hinge on top of the window, so you're just going to push that handle right the way through, and it'll open all the way up to horizontal. It'll give you lots of room to get out. Let's talk about the furnace. The thermostat's located around the corner here on the fridge bed wall. The thermostat's pretty much like the one you'd have at home. There's a slider on the bottom so you can set the temperature where you want. The big difference is on top we've got an on-off switch. So if we want to turn the furnace on, we come here to the switch, turn it to the left, and immediately the fan will come on the furnace. Okay, so now that the fan's running, you'll notice after 10 or 15 seconds you'll hear some clicking sounds and the furnace is going to auto-ignite. It doesn't take very long in an escape trailer to get really nice and toasty inside. So you could just leave the thermostat set where you want it and it'll come off and on accordingly, or at any point you can reach up here, switch it off, and you'll notice that the fan keeps running even after the flames died. And it's going to run for about an additional 45 seconds, and then whatever heat and exhaust is in there will be cleared out and it'll shut itself off cool. Right next to the furnace on this unit is the switch for the hot water tank, which is propane heated, but it's got electronic controls to automatically ignite it. So if I want to light up the hot water tank, I'm going to switch on the switch, and the first thing that happens is we get this red lamp come on. And after a few seconds here, we're going to see that red lamp go out, and then the hot water tank's going to auto-ignite. Now if it's able to auto-ignite, that lamp stays off, and in 30 minutes you've got a full tank of hot water. If, however, you see that the light goes out and then the lamp comes back on again, it's going to come back on again and say it's having trouble igniting. Either open the propane tanks, fill the propane tanks. One of those two things is stopping you from lighting up. Down here is the first of our safety items, and this is the propane detector. It's down nice and close to the floor where the propane would be. Right now we can see a green light showing, which is telling us everything is fine. If it detects an issue, there's a red light that'll come on instead, and this thing will start to make a heck of a racket. You are not going to sleep through it. Let's just press the test button right below the lights and we can hear the tone. When this full alarm goes off, it is really loud. Fortunately, built into this unit is a great little feature. It's what they call hush mode. If the alarm's blaring at you and you come and press the test button, it'll hush up. That is, it'll give you 5 minutes of peace and quiet so you can figure out what to do. Open the windows, turn off the propane tanks. Now after that 5 minutes has gone by, if it can detect that the problem hasn't fully cleared, the auto alarm will come back on again, blare at you. You can always press the button, hush it up again. Two more features, or two more things to know about. There's a white label here recommending that you test it on a regular basis. So just like I showed you, press the test button. And the other important thing to know about your propane detector, it's the only thing in your trailer that's hooked into the electrical system that doesn't have its own on-off switch. And I like to tell you this because when you get home after a trip and you're storing your trailer, given its chance, within just a couple of weeks, this unit will completely drain your batteries. So you'll either, on your dual 6-volt batteries, turn off your battery switch, or with a 12-volt battery, disconnect the battery. But just to be clear here, it's only during storage that you'd ever want those batteries disconnected. You want them engaged while you're traveling or camping in the trailer. Let's have a look at your fridge. This is the 4.3 cubic foot fridge here. Up on the control panel, starting on the left, is the on-off button. So when I turn it on, it lights up and now I can see my fuel choices. The first one here is 110 electric power, in the middle is propane, and then here's 12-volt battery power. So on electric, obviously this is your choice if you're staying in a full-service campground. There's a troubleshooter built into the control panel here. If I were to go outside and unplug this right now, simulating that you're getting ready to travel, the fridge would detect that it had lost power. And you get a little warning light over here to let you know that you need to choose one of these other fuel choices before you hit the road. Here in the middle, propane, this is going to be your choice for your dry camping, your boondocking. It's really efficient on propane. And if we're outside right now, we'd hear the clicking sounds as the fridge tries to auto-ignite. Sometimes it takes a minute or two to light up. If 5 whole minutes went by and it still wasn't able to light, again, this little warning light will come on here to say, hey, I'm having trouble. Either open the propane tanks or fill the propane tanks. One of those things is slowing it down. And then finally, 12-volt battery power. And this is an excellent choice for you while you're traveling, especially if we've already got the fridge cold. Now, if you've already been out camping for a night or several nights, it'll be cold from one of those other modes. Just before you hit the road, put on 12-volt battery power. This fridge is really well insulated. It's only going to need a little 12-volt battery power throughout the day to stay cold. From home, what we recommend is either plugging in the trailer for a few hours or igniting on propane for a few hours to get it cold. And then again, we're just maintaining the cold with the battery power. Over here is our thermostat button. Maximum of 5 lights, coldest, 1 light for least cold. Right here in the middle, most people find that this is the right setting for them, but you choose. Now to open the fridge, button on top of the door, we push that down, you can open it up. And there's several features in here. The latch here, if we want to, we can press up this plastic tab, disengage the latch, and now when I close the door, it's just like your fridge at home. You can just open and close it. Definitely make sure if you use this feature, before you hit the road, re-engage the latch so that it's going to lock and your contents aren't going to end up on the floor of the trailer. Another great feature, over here where the light is a plastic tab. And if I push that in and slide this out, now when I go to lock the door, it's going to lock, but it's going to lock with this air gap. And this is excellent for storage. Lets air circulate through your trailer and it's not going to get stale inside. One more feature. This freezer compartment, if you want to, can be removed. There's 2 latches underneath the shelf of the freezer. Disengage those, slide this out, and now instead of freezer space, this just increases your fridge space. And in extreme temperature circumstances, with the freezer removed, it can really help to keep your fridge cool. Let's have a look in the bathroom. Starting with the drain plug in the bottom. On an escape trailer, it's not just a strainer, but it's actually a drain plug, and we can twist that and lock it into place. This is a great feature. Imagine being out camping for a few days and your gray tank's very full and you don't have time to drain it before you start traveling. With this locked in place, there's no way for that full gray tank to slosh back up into the tub bottom while you're traveling. There's just gray water, but it's another cleaning job you could live without. Got your toilet paper holder, sink and taps. This is just like at home. Up here on the handle, though, we have something a little different. We have an on-off switch. And this is going to let you do what a lot of people refer to as a Navy shower. Lets you conserve water. You can turn the water on and off in between your lathering and your rinsing. And the handle holder has several settings so you can change the angle of the shower head. Let's have a look at the toilet. And the instructions are right here under the lid. Yours is a handle flush, so it's the top instructions here. Now when I pull the handle part way, it naturally wants to stop at this position, and this is so we can fill the bowl. For a full flush, we pull the handle the whole way. You will notice at the end of the flush that the water keeps running for an extra couple of seconds, and that bottom cup area is always going to be left with some water. And that works like an odor seal. It's just like a P-trap under your sink. Okay, let's have a look at the max fan. If we want to raise the lid up and down, we have a black knob here. So let's wind that up. There's fully open, fully closed, and at any point along the way, if I want to lock it, I take the black knob, I push it up, and now it's locked into place. MaxFan has two great ideas for you for traveling. Lid either fully open locked or fully closed locked. And the idea there is that at either end of range of motion, there's no movement on the hinges. Operation, really easy. On, off. And then once we're on, we can use the plus minus buttons to go up and down through the fan speeds. And there's 9 in total. Down here at the lowest speed, hardly even hear it's on. Nice and quiet. At any point if I want to, I can hit the in and out button and the motor's gonna stop, reverse direction. One more great feature is this auto button. There's a thermostat built into the unit here, and it's preset right now at 78 Fahrenheit. The idea being, if you put it on auto, it's not going to come on right away. It'll just sit there patiently waiting until the temperature creeps up to 78, and then it'll come on, cool the trailer, and then it'll just cycle on and off and keep it at that temperature. And if 78 doesn't seem like the right threshold, you could take the manual out of the owner's package, and following their instructions, press these buttons and take that number up higher or lower. Let's have a look at the table operation. The table's on the slide, and underneath the table there's a lock. There's a knob that we can turn to lock it in place, and we want it locked for travel so the table doesn't slide, and also for making the table up and down as a bed. Let's have a look at that. If I want to take the table off the poles, I'm going to grab the edge of the table and I'm going to lift, and as I lift I'll kind of jiggle it off the poles. I can then rest the table on the edge of the cushion, take the poles out. There's a little shelf up here provided for you to tuck away the poles. And then I'm just going to lay the table down on the wooden table supports on either side of the benches. The seat cushions will stay where they are. I'm going to use the back cushions to cover the table and fill this space. And what I like to do is bring the zipper and vinyl edges together. Just make a little tent, and I can push that down. Damn it. Did you want to redo that?
No, keep going. We can piece it
Okay, there we go. So I just want to bring the vinyl and zipper edges together, make a little tent, and I can just push that down in the middle, and you've got your bed. And putting it back up again is just the reverse of what we did to bring it down. So we get the cushions out of our way. Take the table off the table supports. Now these two poles are identical, so there's no up or down, no front or back. And I'd like to put these in the floor first, and then I'm going to drop the table onto them. going to carefully reach under and get the poles into the table bases. Get it all set in place, square to the wall. And then I'm going to come over those two poles and give a thump. And reset it into place. Okay, let's have a look at your converter box. This is what I like to call the electrical heart of the trailer. All the electronics of the trailer run through here. And it serves multiple functions. First and foremost, it's a power converter. So it's able to take your 110 AC power and convert it into 12 volt DC power. It's also a battery charger. So anytime the trailer is plugged into shore power, there's a multi-stage charger to charge up your batteries. There's a high amp boost if they're really low, there's a mid-level, and then there's just a top-up charge. It's quite sophisticated. It can tell when the batteries have reached fully charged and stops charging them. So it's not going to overcharge or cook them, as some people like to call it. And again, quite sophisticated. Built into the unit are a couple of electric fans that keep it cool while it's operating. And I like to tell you this so that you don't suffocate it. You give it a chance to breathe. You don't have a pillow or a blanket up against the front or the back side. And then finally, it's also your fuse box. So if I press the door at the top, it'll pop open and we can see inside. And we can see it's actually split into two different sides. Over here on the left side is the 110 circuitry. It's just regular breakers like you'd have at home. We've listed what they all are for. And over on this side is for the 12 volt side. And here we've got a series of the plastic color-coded blade fuses. And again, listed what they are. Very handy. If one of these fuses were to go, the little red LED light will come on beside the one that's popped, so that you don't have to pull each and every one out and inspect it to figure out which one had gone. Okay, let's have a look at the screen door. This thing's really slick. If I want to close it, I'll just slide it over and it'll latch itself in place. And then to undo, little arrow points up, so undo. And you'll see it's kind of spring loaded, so I try to guide it back with a finger rather than let it just go schwacking back on its own. And down here, there's an aluminum rail that the door rides on. So as best as you can, try to keep this area clean. And now the door itself, as it slides back and forward, it's sliding on this black plastic track. So maybe a couple of times a year, a little silicone lubricant to keep it lubricated and sliding nicely. And one great feature about these screen doors, they know that people have kids and grandkids and other beings that don't necessarily recognize that this is a barrier. So they've designed it that if somebody walks into it, they haven't wrecked anything. All you have to do is close the door and it self-checks. Okay, let's have a look at your awning operation. You're going to find your awning pole either under the bed or under one of the benches. And it's got two ends to it. It's got a hook end for the strap and a loop end for the switch. We're going to start with the awning arms. Both these arms are identical. I've actually already opened up the locks on the far end, but let's take a look at these ones. Starting with this white plastic lock, I want to lift up this white plastic tab, reach behind, hinge this open. As you can see, our little plastic tab here. I'll show you that again. And then I'm going to reach behind the awning arm, and there's a black plastic knob here. And I just want to loosen it, so maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 turns. But don't go 8 or 10 or 12 turns, and they'll come right off, and it could be a little hard to put back on again. So now with the loop end of my awning pole, I'm going to come up here to the switch. And if you take a look at the switch, it's in the closed position now, and this can be a little deceiving. When I go counterclockwise, it actually goes up to the word open, but in the closed position, this is as close to the word closed as it ever gets. So let's leave it an open, and we're ready to pull the awning out. So now with my hook end, I can get the hook into the strap and pull it out. It should pull out nice and easy and smooth. If you get to about a foot out and you seem to be coming into a restriction, hold off for a second and double check that maybe you haven't unlocked everything. It should be real smooth and easy. Let's just pull it all the way out. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these skinny arms that have the black knobs on them, and we're going to slide them all the way up the main arm. And you'll see here there's a little silver spring clip. And we want to make sure that when this reaches the top, it locks itself into the cap. Now I've already slid the other one into place to make things easy for us, but normally you'd have to run over there and slide that one up too. Next thing we're going to do is come here to the main arm, and we're going to open up this white handle. And when I do, it releases a pin that can lock itself into the different series of holes, and that lets us set the awning at different angles. So with one hand underneath and one hand pushing on the handle, I'm going to slide it up. Now, if two people are operating the awning, you can each take an arm, and as long as you go at the same pace, you can start at the bottom and slide it all the way up in one move. If you're on your own, come up about halfway, where I am now, lock it in place, and then what you'll do is you'll run over to the other arm, slide it the full distance and lock it, and then you would come back to this arm and finish it off. There we go. Almost done. We just got one more move to make, and that's where these black knobs are going to come back into play. They're going to help us tighten up the side of the awning. So you can see right now it's loose. If it was raining, it'd just be filling full of water. But before we tighten them, I'm going to show you a little trick here. I'm going to come here to the main arm, I'm going to pull down, I'm going to bow it or flex it. And when I do, tighten up the side of the awning. Now I tighten up my knob, nice and tight. Let me just go and get the other one. Now I'm not hanging off here, but you can see I'm putting a fair bit of flex into it. Now I'm tightening it up, nice and tight. The water will just flow right off the front of the awning. And the last thing you want to do, take your strap, run it down to this end of the awning, and just wrap it around the arm. And this gets it out of your way. And now you're ready to enjoy your awning. So now we got your awning all set up, ready for you to enjoy, with a caution. There's definitely going to be days and nights where it's too windy to have this awning out. It's like a big sail attached to the side of your trailer. So proceed with caution. Now we always want to have a downward slope so that the rain moves away from the trailer. And if you want to, rather than letting the rain just form a big puddle out in the front, we can dip one corner or the other just a few holes in order to make the puddle there or here, whichever makes more sense for your campsite. I think we're ready to put it away again. What we're going to do is the exact opposite of what we did to bring it out, just in reverse order. So I'm going to start off with the black knobs. And again, I don't want to loosen these too many times. I want to take them right off. 2, 3, 4 turns. Let me get this other one down here. And now I'm going to come here to the handle and open up it again. But let me show you, let you have a little bit better look. This handle is controlling a pin that locks in the different holes. When I open that up, you'll see it'll release. If I want to lower it up, take it down a hole, I don't actually have to line up that pin perfectly to make it work. This is spring loaded in here. So all I have to do is bring the handle in a little bit, bring it down, and I can lower it down a notch. Of course, we're going to take it right the way down. We're going to take it right the way down to the bottom, and it's going to land on that shiny chrome stop bolt at the bottom. Lock our handle up again. And then up here at the cap, where we locked the skinny arm in place in the first place, I'm just going to pull that spring clip to the side, release it, and now I can slide this arm all the way down to the bottom. And it has its own stopper too. Just going to run over here and get this side. Perfect, almost there. So the last thing we need to do is to roll the awning back up again. Built into the tube of the awning is a really powerful spring. So the awning is going to draw itself back up to the trailer for us. But before you go anywhere near the switch, first thing you always have to make sure you do is get a handle on the strap so that the awning doesn't roll up uncontrollably. So we have a few choices here. If you're working as a team, one person can operate the switch, the other person can hold the strap, or if you can reach, you can do the switch and the strap at the same time. Or one more great little tip for you here. We can hang on to the valance, come up here to the switch, put it into the closed position, and then I'm just going to carefully walk myself back over to the strap. And now with a good handle on the strap, I'm going to let the awning do its thing. I'm just controlling it so it doesn't go up too fast. Perfect. Almost there. Last thing we need to do is lock these arms down again. So we're going to come back to the black plastic knobs, tighten those up, just good and snug, and then the white plastic lock, snap it back down into place. one last thing, with my awning pole, I'm going to come up here with the hook end again on the strap and hook it in and just give a little tug, just so I can feel confident that we're locked in place and ready to travel. It's just that easy. So we're going to take you around the trailer now and show you all of the exterior features. On the door, all of our models come with a door latch, so that if you want to have the door open, we can latch it open. Steps, really easy. There's a metal rod, and then there's slots cut out. So all I want to do is lift the step up level, move it forward, drop it down in place, and then for back up again, lift it horizontal, slide it back, and let it drop into those cutouts. And the only trick, if you want to call it a trick, is you have to go in and out quite even so it doesn't bind up as you're going in and out. 2 levels on our trailers. One on the side for front to back leveling, one on the back side for side to side. Range hood vent. This is really important. Before you start cooking, you want to come out here and open these plastic tabs, allowing the flap to open and let the exhaust come out of your trailer. And then for travel, we just want to lock those back up again. All of the trailers have an exterior 110 outlet, and they're always GFI outlets with the little reset button. The exterior hatch is standard on the 19-foot trailer. It's an option on some of the other trailers. So just want to open that up. Handy little clip up here to latch it open. Now my hands are free to reach in and grab my cargo up. Let's have a look at the stabilizer jacks. So what we want to do is line up the stabilizer jack handle on the stabilizer jack and wind it down. Rather than have that wind down under the bare ground, it's really nice to have a plastic leveling block or block of wood, something for it to land on. Now, of course, we want to make sure we get this cranked all the way up tight before we travel. On the back side of the trailer, as promised, another level for side-to-side leveling. We've got a full-size spare tire. If you've ordered it, bike rack ready receiver. Maximum 150 pounds, so 150 pounds of bikes or cargo, whatever you're going to carry back here. And then we're going to move around to the other side of the trailer. Okay, let's have a look under the back of the trailer. Starting with the sewer tube, which is the home of the sewer hose. And this is just where it lives for travel. The hookup's a little bit further on the tour, and I'll show you that in just a minute. There is a door at each end of this tube so that you can take the hose out and rinse the tube out occasionally. Just make sure that both doors get latch closed for travel. Here we can see another stabilizer jack. There's one at all 4 corners. And this is your freshwater tank. You see the drains in the open position right now. To close it, we would just swing it to the front. We'll talk more about the freshwater tank during the winterizing segment. Your escape trailer is going to come equipped with a 25-foot power cord with a 30-amp plug at the end. We're also going to provide with your trailer a 15-amp plug adapter so that you can plug your trailer in at home. Let's have a look at the water fill. 2 choices. If you're at a full-service campground, you can hook up your hose here and use their pressured city water. Always make sure that you use your water pressure regulator so that we don't have too much pressure coming in the trailer and maybe damage any of the plumbing. And then your other option is to twist the cap off and fill your freshwater tank. If you want to fill it completely full, you can just keep pouring the water in until it splashes back out, you know it's full, or you can just fill it partway. That's good. Okay, let's have a look at your hot water tank. If we want to open the lid, you can flip up the white plastic lock, give it a twist, and the lid pops open. And the very first thing that jumps out is this warning label, which reminds us to keep the lid closed while it's in operation. There's a lot of heat generated in here, and we've added this heat deflector to the lid to keep the heat away from the edge of the trailer. We've stamped it hot, not kidding, this really gets hot, so please be careful. You're going to notice when the hot water tank is operating, some drips of water come down. It's just from condensation. It's supposed to do that. This trailer has TV ready, so here's our Cablevision inlet. Here's our lower fridge hatch. Let's have a little look in there. Just turn these little plastic locks till they're vertical. I can take the lid off. This is something that's going to get dirty over the course of a camping season, so you definitely want to vacuum that out occasionally. Furnace vent, stamped hot, no kidding, this really gets hot. Please be careful with that. Up here, we provided another porch light on the driver's side here. The idea is, it'll give you some light to work with if you're setting up early or late, want to drain your sewer. Well, let's have a look at your termination valve. We've got one spot for your hose to hook up. So you would twist the cap off, you'd then take your sewer hose, twist it on, run it down to the sani drain, and then we've got two separate handles for the two different tanks. I've got a big black handle here for the black tank, and there's a smaller gray handle for the gray tank. Now very often you're going to be just draining your gray tank. So in that case, you come to the gray handle, pull it towards the back of the trailer, and let it drain. When it's finished draining, close it back up again, unhook your hose, put your cap back on. In the event that you're going to be draining your black tank as well at this point, always do the black first. It's a great age-old trick. So come to your handle, pull the black handle, let the black tank completely drain, close it back up again, and now we're going to come and pull the handle for the gray tank, and all that soapy water from your dishes and your showers are going to clean out the system as it exits. Same idea, take off the hose, put the cap back on, you're ready to go. So I've got a couple of things to tell you about the tires. In the event of a flat, you're going to need a couple of things. Flathead screwdriver, so you can pop those plastic center caps off. And then you're going to need the right size wheel nut wrench, which is 13/16. Check your tow vehicle. There's a good chance that you'll have the right one with you when you come to get your trailer. The other thing to talk about is the retightening and the retorquing the wheel nuts. During the break-in period, this is really important. Follow the directions on the sticker that we've put on the side of the trailer for you. Okay, I've got an important label to tell you about. And on all of our tandem axle trailers, really important, both of these things. One, we want to make sure we have positive tongue weight. That is, 10 to 15% of the total trailer weight should be tongue weight, pushing down on the ball up at the coupler. The other important piece of information here is because of your dual torsion axles, really important that the trailer travel level. And if not level, a little high at the front's okay too. Okay, up here at the front of the trailer, I want to show you a couple of things. Rock guard that protects the front window while you're traveling. There's two little black locks. I'm just going to give those a little twist to unlock it. Easy way to get this to release. If I grab it in the middle, sometimes it can still feel locked. I'm just going to come here to the corners where it releases from the seal easily. I'm just going to take this up and lock my wing nuts in place. And then of course, loosen these off. Drop it back down again. And I want to make sure that I push the corner in securely and then lock it. All the way in and lock. On the 19-foot Escape that we're looking at, it comes with the dual propane setup. That is to say, dual propane tanks with an automatic switchover regulator. Now if all we want to do is reach inside and open up the propane tanks, I can just wind up these black knobs, push them out of my way, flip the lid open, and then I can reach inside and open those tanks up. But for our purposes, we want a little bit better look. So let me just wind these black knobs down tight, and we're going to pull this cover off. So here we have it. Dual propane setup with the automatic switchover regulator. That is to say, when the first tank runs empty, it'll automatically come to the second tank and start drawing from there automatically, provided that you remember to also have this tank open. So we recommend every time that you set up to camp, just open both tanks, and then this one will be ready to go when that first one runs out. So let's have a little look at the regulator here. There's actually two things to look at. We have a supply lever, and we can point this at whichever tank we want to start on. I'm going to start over here. And then there's also a gauge, which is showing red right now. That's telling us that we don't have propane flowing. Now, when I come and open up the tank, the pressure from the propane's going to go in and change that from red to green. And that green now tells us that we have propane flowing. Green for go. So here's the idea. There's a lot of camping on tanks. This will take some time. starting on this tank, down, 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 empty, and then automatically it's going to come over to this tank. How will you know? When it comes over to this tank, this gauge is going to reset to red. So I imagine you're going to pull the tank cover off many times to look. It'll be green each time until finally you'll look and it'll be red, and that'll tell you, aha, we're over on this tank. Now's the time you're going to come to your supply lever and point it to the tank that it automatically switched to. And when you do this, your gauge can reset to green, starting that cycle over again. And this tank's now safe to take off and refill. So I'm going to close it up. I'm going to uncouple it here. And then to take the tank off, I just want to wind this wing nut up enough that I can lift the bar and pull the tank out from underneath. I'll then put my full tank back on and just start the process over again. Okay, in this segment we're going to show you how to winterize your trailer. We're going to show you the preferred method that involves using compressed air to blow out all the water lines. First thing we want to do is to bypass the hot water tank, so let's start there. Okay, we propped up the mattress to make it easier to see what we're going to do here, but you'll be able to easily reach through the cabinet doors and bypass the hot water tank. So you're going to find these bypass valves in the horizontal position. What we want to do is turn them to face each other. You can easily see the bottom one, you can just reach up and you can feel the top one. Now they're facing each other, hot water tanks now bypassed, and we're ready to winterize. Now that we've got the hot water tank switched to bypass mode, we can head outside and we can drain the hot water tank and the fresh water tank. Let's go outside. Okay, we're going to start by draining your fresh water tank, which is located under the rear of the trailer behind the driver's side axle. If your trailer is equipped with a low point drain, we won't be using that with our new winterizing method. I'm going to come here to the drain valve, point it to the rear of the trailer, and that lets us drain out the fresh water tank. Okay, we've got the fresh water tank draining, and while that drains, we can now drain the hot water tank. You're going to need a 1 1/16 socket and an extension. So let's have a look. Right at the bottom of the tank is our drain plug. And they're in there pretty tight, so it's going to take a little bit of a oomph to get it out. There we go. And take it right the way out, get out of the way. And now I'm going to open up the valve here, let it drain out. There we go. Let me show you your drain plug. It's not just a drain plug. When you take it out, you're going to see it's actually this anode rod, which is a sacrificial rod. The idea here is that it's going to collect hard minerals and protect the inside of your hot water tank. Now, you're going to find that it wears itself out, and it's going to start at this end and work its way to this end. Once we get to 50% worn, definitely it's time to put in a new one. I've got one to show you here where they've left it way too long, so let's not go that far. Once the hot water tank is completely finished draining, we're going to put a wrap of Teflon tape on here and put it back in for the winter. So now that we've got the hot water tank drained and the drain plug back in, it's time to blow at the air lines. You're going to need a couple of things. You should already have your water pressure regulator that you use to protect your water system from too much pressure. We're going to use it to protect the system from too much air pressure. This will make sure it never gets above 40 to 50 psi. The other thing you're going to need is one of these little blow plugs, and these are available at RV stores everywhere. It's about $5. So what I'm going to do is thread this in here, and then I'm going to attach our water pressure regulator. Now, if you've got an air compressor and your tire check, you can do it at home, or you can stop by a gas station and use their system. So what I'm going to need is a second person to hold this in place for us. And while they hold it for us, I'll go run inside and open up each tap individually and blow out the lines. So we're back in the trailer. We're going to blow out the water lines now. We're going to do them one at a time. So I'm going to start with the cold. I'm just going to crack it slowly so that we can control the spray. We're just going to let it go until the water stops flowing and we get air coming out. And now we can do the hot line. Same thing, just crack it slowly. And there you go, kitchen sink's ready to go. And we're gonna go in the bathroom and show you the fixtures in there next. So let's do the same thing in the bathroom with the sink. Start off with the coal, just gonna crack it slowly. And then come to the hot, same thing. And then this is really important because there's water in the hose leading up to your shower handle. So what we want to do is take the shower handle off, get it open up, and open up our cold again, get the air flowing, and then open up, lift the diverter, and get all of the water out of our handle. If your unit has an exterior shower, we're going to do the exact same thing outside with the handle. Now the toilet, same idea. I just want to open the handle slowly. And there we go. We've got all the water out of the airline and the toilet valve. Let's flush that water out. So the freshwater tank should be completely drained now. We've blown out the water lines. The last thing we want to do is to run the pump and make sure that we pump out that last little bit of water in the pump head and leave it dry. So I just want to switch it on, and I just want to run it for 10 to 20 seconds and make sure that we cleared out the last of that water. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is put some RV antifreeze down the P-traps. So you're looking for the pink RV antifreeze, non-toxic. It's available at RV stores everywhere. What we're going to do is split up this gallon between the kitchen sink drain, the bath sink drain, the shower, and we're also going to put a little bit into the toilet. And then we're all done, ready to store your trailer for the winter. If you choose not to use the preferred method of running air through all the water lines, you can pump RV antifreeze through all of your system and leave that in all winter. You want to make sure that your hot water tank is being drained and in bypass. We want to make sure your freshwater tank's empty. And then we can take 2 to 3 gallons of our RV antifreeze and add it to the freshwater tank. And then we're going to use the pump to draw that through the system. And we're going to draw it one at a time, just like we do in the other method. First cold, then hot. And we want to run it until we see pink coming through the taps. So we're going to do the kitchen, then move into the bathroom and do the bathroom sink. Don't forget to make sure we run it through the hose and through the shower head. If you have an exterior shower, don't forget to pop outside and run it through there too. And then finally, we're going to run it through the toilet. Okay, run it until we see pink. And when we're all done, there's going to be RV antifreeze left in all your P-traps. You're done. Trailer's ready to store for the winter. And in the springtime, when you're ready to de-winterize, all you're going to do is run fresh water through the system and flush out all of the antifreeze.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Well, let's have a look back here. All of the escape trailers have an emergency escape window on the rear driver's side. This window is great because it's one of the windows that you can have open in the ring. Nice little covered vent window. Okay, we might want to review this. Let's have a look at your toilet. Now the instructions are right here in the lid. Yours is the handle flush, so it's this top set here. And here's our handle. So first thing we want to do is bring the handle halfway. Bringing it halfway lets the water flow and we can fill up the bowl, because you're going to fill up the bowl in each and every time before you use the toilet. But once you're happy
You are? You're just peeing?
What's that?
If you're just
Well,
peeing?
I don't know. No?
No?
No? Okay. Yeah, no, people just pee without adding a... Okay, let's have a look in the bathroom. Starting with the drain plug at the bottom.
Put the seat down.
Well, I must say that we've come a long ways from let's just get something and the close will count or whatever.
Still
but
rolling.
I knew, yeah, as soon as you're behind the camera and you can see it yourself, then you know what you want.
We're still rolling.
Okay. Well, let's have a look in the bathroom. Up at the front of this unit is combination smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector, and all of our units also have a fire extinguisher.
Back up. No, I'm too close.
Yeah, you're too close to catch that?
Yeah. Okay, when you're ready.
Okay. Well, let's have a look at your converter box. I've moved the table out of the way so we can get a real good look at it. This is what I like to call the electrical heart of the trailer. All of the electronics of your trailer run through this, and it has multiple functions. It's
Sorry. Can't get down there. There's a leg sticking out on me.
no, it's I haven't got my TiVo yet. Where's my TiVo?
What is TiVo?
TiVo is just like a PVR. That's like
what I
the
thought it
original
was.
PVR.
Okay, hang on.
The seat cushions will stay where they are. I'm going to use the back cushions to cover the table and fill this space. And what I'd like to do is bring the zipper and vinyl edges together. Just make a little tent. And I can push that down. Like that. Damn it. Did you want to redo that?
No, keep going. We can piece her
Okay, there
together.
we go. So I just want to bring the vinyl and zipper edges together, make a little tent, and I can just push that down in the middle, and you've got your bed. And I'd like to put these in the floor first, and then I'm going to drop the table onto them. Just going to carefully reach under and get the poles into the table bases. Get it all set in place, square to the wall, and then I'm going to come over those two poles.
Okay.
Okay,
Remember your stick.
remember my stick. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to operate your awning. Okay, so now we've got the awning set in place. I'm just going to give you a little cautionary note. This is a big awning. It's like a big sail attached to the side of your trailer. And so what I always recommend is proceed with caution. That is to say, there's going to be days and nights where it's too windy to have your awning out. So use your common sense. Don't leave it unattended. Crap, sorry. Okay,
Rain.
I'm going to go for that. Should I just go back? Should I just take it up from the top?
No.
No?
Don't leave it unattended.
Okay, yeah. So don't leave it unattended. Yeah, see, you know what? I don't do very good just picking it up from the middle of a word. Okay. So now that we got the awning out, I'd like to give you a little caution. This is a big awning. It's really like a big sail attached to the side of your trailer. So I always recommend people proceed with caution. There's going to be days and nights where it's too windy to have your awning out.
No. Okay.
Okay. So we've got the awning all set now, and I'd just like to give you a caution. This is a really big awning. It's like a sail attached to the side of your trailer. So what I always recommend to people is don't leave it unattended. Ah, crap. I'm not saying it the way I normally do. Okay. So now that we've got the awning all set. One more time. So we got the awning all set up now, and I would just like to pass on a little caution to you. This is a really big awning. It's like a sail attached to the side of your trailer. So I recommend people proceed with caution. There's going to be days and nights where it's just too windy to have your awning out. What I recommend is, I don't know what I recommend. Damn, just get myself tripped up. Be fine. If the awning's set up as a rain shield, always make sure you have a downward slope. And if we want to, rather than just letting the water come off the front of the awning and make a big puddle out front, we can actually direct where that puddle's going to be. And come to either arm, drop this down a few holes. Joke he goes, I guess. Okay, let's try that one more time. Okay. So now we got your awning all set up, ready for you to enjoy. Let's have a look at the water fill. So two choices here. If you're at a full service campground, up here we've got another porch light. The one on the driver's side here is provided so that if you're setting up early or late and it's dark, or you want to drain your sewer system, you've got some light to work with. Here we've got the vent for your furnace, stamped hot. Not kidding, this gets really hot, so please be careful with that.
Ah,
Propane system.
that's right.
Yeah, no.
Once more.
Yeah. Let's have a look at your propane system. Now on this trailer we've got the dual propane tank setup. No, just give me one second. That's not right. The dual propane tank setup. Okay, let's look at the propane system. Or let's have a look at the dual propane system with the automatic switchover regulator. Okay, something like that. Ready when you are.
Still rolling.
Okay. Okay, let's have a look at your propane system. The one we're going to look at today is the dual propane tank setup with the automatic switchover regulator. Now, if all we want to do is actually reach inside and open up the tanks, I can wind up these plastic knobs, push them out of my way, flip the lid open, and just reach inside and open those tanks. But for our purposes, we want to have a better look at that. So let's just close this down. Yeah,